Hi, this is Brian with Game Craze, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to set up and take down an inflatable bounce house. One of the things we're going to look for today is to make sure that we have enough space. For this inflatable, we're going to need 20 by 20. It's a 15 by 50 inflatable, so we're going to need 20 by 20. Our height is 15 feet, so we're going to need 16-foot clearance, which we're more than enough in this facility. When you're outdoors, one thing to look for on your height is any overhead trees or branches. You need to make sure you're free of those. And then also power lines, telephone lines, anything that's strong, you need to make sure that you're clear of that. So I'm using a dolly to bring the inflatable in. That's the easiest way. If you don't have a dolly, you have a couple of options. One is you can team lift, one person on either side. The second is you can tip into place or even roll into place. Like I said, the easiest is to use a dolly. You never want to drag any of the inflatables. It'll cause damage to the unit. Once you have your inflatable in place, simply pull and that's it. All of our inflatables are rolled from the entrance back, so when we set them up, we're going to go from the back forward. So this will be our entrance right here. Then we're going to open up the unit. Having a second person is helpful, but not required. The next step is connecting the blower. Now you will find that most units have at least one blower tube, most have two or even three. Unless specified, you're just connecting one blower to each unit. You need to make sure that the strap is on the back side of the lip. That way it prevents it from pulling forward. Using the alligator clip, make sure you have a nice tight connection. For any additional blower tubes, simply fold over and seal. When using an extension cord, you want to run both cords parallel, make a simple knot, and then plug. This prevents the plug from becoming undone should someone trip or pull on the extension cord. The next step is to power on the unit. You'll find a toggle switch located typically on the front of the blower. Now that the unit's inflating, I'm going to go ahead and secure using sandbags. Outdoor locations on grass, you can use the provided stakes. Now that we're set up, we're going to verify our setup using the setup and takedown report. The weather conditions are safe for operation. We're indoors. The vinyl is clean and sanitized once you get it. All of the seams and meshes are secure and in good condition. We check this every time before the inflatable goes out. If you do see any issues, please call the office immediately. Tie-down straps in all four corners are strong with no breakage, and this unit is secured with sandbags and needs to remain anchored at all times. The entrance and exit of this unit does not have any obstructions and needs to remain clear. The warning signs are posted on the unit in yellow. And as mentioned earlier, we are free of utility lines, 15 feet in all directions. And when we ran our extension cord, we ran that around the unit so that it doesn't pose a tripping hazard. The next step is going to be the operator training. Every inflatable ride has to have an operator in order to be used safely. On this unit, you need to make sure that there's no roughhousing or rowdy behavior, absolutely no flips allowed inside the unit. Operator needs to stay with the ride at all times. Anyone who goes in needs to remove their shoes, their glasses, and empty their pockets before entering. You'll want to make sure that kids of the same age and size are in together. The maximum occupancy for this unit is 10 people or 1,000 pounds. There's no climbing on the walls or nettings on the inside or the outside of the unit. Riders need to obey and follow the safety rules. There's no food or drinks allowed in or around the inflatable. Units that are returned dirty are subject to a $50 cleaning fee. Remove riders when they're tired. This applies especially to younger children toward the end of a party. They get tired and want to lay down. Their limbs are now exposed and other children can jump on them. Be aware and follow the safety rules. If your unit does deflate, stay calm, remove the riders, and refer to your troubleshooting guide. Do not use in the rain or heavy winds, and there's no silly string to be used in or around the inflatable. In this section, I'm going to show how to properly clean and sanitize an inflatable. I'm going to be using a standard shop vac, but I'm also going to be using an extension. What this does is it allows you to have a free hand once you're inside of the unit. If you don't have the extension, you can still use the shop vac. Be aware these are wet-dry shop vacs, which means if they get tipped over, there's a ball inside that will prevent it from sucking. You need to turn the unit off, place it upright, wait for it to power down completely, and then turn it back on to proceed. The first step is to remove any large objects, any balls that are in here, socks, any jewelry that you find, hair ties. Remove those first. Once that's done, we're going to start vacuuming. We're going to start from the back, and we're going to work our way to the front of the unit. We want to make sure that we clean all of the cracks and crevices, starting in corners. Now that we've finished vacuuming, we're going to move on to sanitizing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get all the touch points on everything that's off the ground. We're going to spray liberally and using a towel that's folded in quarters. We're going to use long strokes to wipe up. I'm folding my towel frequently to make sure that I have a clean surface area. And now I'm going to go ahead and start with the floor. Normally we start with the back and work our way forward. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to start in the middle. The spray bottle in your leading hand, set to mist. We're going to spray and wipe down as we move. When I reach the end, change hands, keeping my spray bottle in my leading hand, big sweeping motion. Any areas where there's visible dirt or debris, we're going to take a little bit extra time and make sure we get those areas clean. Now that we've got all of the vinyl inside the unit clean and sanitized, we're ready to exit. Make sure that you get the exit areas. It's a high-touch area for the kids, so make sure that it's nice and clean. We want to make sure we clean the outside of the unit, in particular, the entrance. And then we'll walk around the unit. Any areas that appear to be dirty, we'll go ahead and clean. Now that we've cleaned and sanitized the unit, we're ready to turn the blower off and start the deflation process. Going to remove the blower tube to let the air flow out. If you have a unit with zippers, Now's the time to unzip all of the zippers and or Velcro areas to let additional air out. To take out any stakes or sandbags. Now that we're completely deflated, we're going to go ahead and move everything to the inside of the inflatable before we start folding. There's a seam on the bottom. This should be on the outside edge, and everything should be pulled in. Once that's complete, we're going to go ahead and fold the unit in half. At this point, this is the bottom of the unit on top. You can go ahead and walk on that with shoes. Don't walk on the unit on any other surface other than the bottom. At this point, it's oftentimes helpful to walk the unit out to remove any excess air. And the next step is we're going to fold the unit in half once again. Make sure your blower tubes are left out so that the air doesn't become trapped inside the unit. Again, we're going to walk everything out, removing the excess air. Before we start rolling, we're going to proactively place our strap underneath the unit so when we come to the end, we'll be able to wrap it up. It's important to get a nice tight roll at the beginning, the first foot or so. If you have a sloppy start, you're going to have a sloppy finish. So we're going to take a little extra time and make sure that our roll is nice and tight from the beginning. When you reach the end of the unit, you're going to want to tuck the blower tubes in, as well as any excess material. Before finishing your roll. We've got our strap already placed.